You came in like a thief, and you stole the crown. Your lies keep piling up, and we watch them weigh you down. The fair agree that you stole, they run the whole fucking show. But we are not afraid, and we will not let go. The bigots rise, and you fan the flames. You build an empire of fear and pain. You're hand in hand with the billionaire scum, selling out this country while you play dumb. Burn it all down! Tear the walls apart! We will not bow! We will not lose heart! We will put an end to the hate! We will put an end to your lies! We will stand side by side! And we will You think these cages are built for the poor and for the weak, for the families torn apart while you laugh and tweet? Look at the puppets dance to the corporate sound, but we are still here and we will stand our ground! There's blood on your hands! We have seen the truth erased! You put the prophets first! Instead of the people you've displaced. History is watching, and it won't soon forget. It may not be you this time, but you could soon be next. Burn it all down, tear the walls apart. We will not bow, we will not lose heart. We will put an end to the hate. We will put an end to your lies. We will stand side by side, and we will rise! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Lies on the screen from the deadlight machine! Burn it all down! They killed the American dream! Complete an escalator! A tower built on decay! Smiling like a tyrant while the world fades away! Fear and hate is the name of your game! Divide the people and shift all the blame! The truth is dead! You sold them for fame! History won't forget your name! Fake empire! Built on greed! Fascist clown! Watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! Broken to cases! You've got blood on your hands! Worship the dollar while you ignore our demands! We storm the gates! Our rage is fueled by your lies! We will sit back and watch as your empire crumbles and dies! Fear and hate is the name of your game! Divide the people and shift all the blame! The truth is dead, you sold them for fame! History won't forget! Nay, nay! Fake empire! Built on greed! Fascist clown! Watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! You build walls! We break them down! You spread lies! We burn this now. You breathe fear. We fight back. Hardcore, counterattack. Fake empire going down. No more kings for the crown. Justice call. Hear the sound. Rise up now and stand your ground. All out. Promises break. Promises break. On a gilded stage, dividing the people, fueling the rage. Walls built high, but compassion's low. Truth buried deep beneath the show. No more lies, no more deceit. We will bow down, we will retreat. Voices loud, we stand as one. The fight's not over, it's just begun. It's just begun. Families torn at the borderline. Justice denied, time after time. Prophet's soul on the planet burns. When will we learn? When will we learn? No more lies, no more deceit. We will bow down, we will retreat. Voices loud, we stand as one. The fight's not over, it's just begun. It's just begun. It's just begun. Resist the power and break the chain. Rise above all this hate and this pain. Together we're strong, we won't divide. In our unity we will find our pride. The fight's not over, it's just begun. 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 The fight's not over! Whispers turn to battle cries. The truth is dead, been fed to lies. They sell us lies in the name of peace. What justice rots beneath the leash. They write the laws just to serve the few. We bleed beneath the red, white, and blue. But freedom's fire still burns inside, where truth and treason often collide. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. No peace without the will the fight, no dawn without a rebel night. The ballot's a joke and the court's offline, and American justice lags a decade behind. So strike the drum and light the flame. Each beating soul will rise again. The people's wrath is a sacred flood. The soil drinks deep the martyr's blood. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. Not for glory, not for gold, but for the stories that were never told. For every voice that they tried to drown, we will plant the flag and hold our ground. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't resist. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must grow with the blood that only the brave know. And if we should fall, then we fall as one beneath the rising pirate sun. The tyrants will fall and the people will rise, because freedom never truly dies. They build their towers in the sky, hoarding wealth while the workers die. Billionaires with blood-stained hands, trampling lives to expand their brand. They say they earned it, they say it's fair, but they only take while we despair. Their pockets are fat and their hearts are cold. Working ourselves to death makes them more bold. But now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. The system is rigged, it's all just a game. The rich pull the strings, the poor take the blame. Wealth hoarders live in mansions, the people live in chains. The billionaires don't care, they cash in on our pay. Luxury is a cage that's been built on the backs of the common workers that they keep under attack. But we the people, we've had it rough. Their empire is fragile, we've had enough. And now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you only God's whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. No more silence, no more living in fear, no more being divided, no more broken man's tears. Don't try to keep us down, you are not our king. In every city and every town, let motherfucking freedom ring. Because the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see your lie and we know the deal. You hoard your wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. We signed up to fight for freedom, not to be the boots on the necks of Americans. You used us, you lied to us, and now we're coming to square the account. Get fucked and die mad about it! Admin 10360, bitch! We wear the scars, we bear the pain. We watched our friends die in blood and blade. You said that we fought for liberty, but we came home to fight hypocrisy. You turned a rifle around our peace. You crushed dissent, you unleashed police. You sent us in just to guard your throne. You turned the streets into a combat zone. No one wants to know. Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one wants to know. This ain't no game. There is only one true. We are the same. You armored up and sent the troops to beat down kids and protest groups, to guard the banks, protect the suits so that they can't keep us under their boots. You wave the flag like it's a threat, but we remember every single bet that you left to run, alone and discarded, while CEOs got golden parachute parties. Anyone wants to love, not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one wants to know. This ain't no game. There is only one true. We are the same. To every citizen still asleep, wake the fuck up. To my fellow veterans, remember your oath. Our freedom is dying right beneath our eyes. The people in charge tell us nothing but lies. The common people starve while billionaires eat, and we're the ones tossed out in the street. Let's save the rich, let's make them pay their share. Pay their taxes is a burden they can bear. Make billionaires right again. Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one wants to know. This ain't no game. There is only one truth. We are the same. No one wants to know. Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one wants to know. This ain't no game. There is only one truth. We are the same. No one wants to know. I got something for you. Hang on to your asses. Towers, velvet ropes, behind the mask, a vulture chokes, power suits and dirty hands, wag the dog in desert sands, victims screaming into voids while kings play gods with broken toys, airbrush lies on every screen. What the hell does justice mean? Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free, blood on the floor, hurt trooping chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? You built your throne on broken laws. Now you're scared, you know what you saw. Silence bought with piles of cash. Erase the files, burn the trash. Martial law for damage control. Draft the bar to hide your soul. Wanna light the world on fire just to dodge the light trip wire. History is a loaded gun. Tick, 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 you better run. Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free. Blood on the floor, hurt trooping chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? Your kingdom shakes with every name. You'll kill us all to dodge the blame. This ain't conspiracy, it's confession. Hidden in plain sight, full suppression. You laugh while the system bleeds, but the streets remember what you need. Truth, there's a crime. You just spare the time when the lights come by. Your ass is mine. Locked room, VIP. No more secrets, no more gates. Dragged across your marble floor. Truth is kicking down your door. I said I'm young and believe the vow. Stars and stripes, I wear them now. Trained to fight and trained to lead. Wore the flag like it was all I need. I went to war, that was my goal. Buried brothers filling bullet holes. Did what I had to cause that was the cost. I came home proud but broken and lost. The other party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. They wrapped their lives in red, white, blue, but the blood on my hands was never for you. It was never for you. They said freedom, they said truth, but fed me hate since I was a youth. Republican dreams, conservative pride, just uniforms for the greed they hide. Where were they when the VA failed? When my friends came home and we all derailed? Where were they when we screamed in pain? Too busy chasing power and gain. All the party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. You bring support to wave your flags while you turn your backs on body bags. Don't turn your back on the fallen. You say that I betrayed you. I bled for this country. What did you ever do? You cheered for war. Then you ran from the wounded. I see who the traitors really are now! I gave my all. You gave me lies. Soldiers die while your empire thrives. Call me woke, call me lost. You never paid the fucking cost. And the party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. I fight again, not for your pride, but for every soul you left behind. The party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. Justice ain't red, justice ain't blue. It's the truth, and it's coming for you. Marching down the street with your MAGA flag, spitting serpent's lies while you're waving that rag, screaming freedom while you chain the weak. It makes me sick every time you speak. Beneath your cross, beyond your screen, you sold your soul for a fascist dream. Keyboard warrior that don't know pain, a cultist clown whose leader's insane. You are a king, not a constitution. You crave control, not a revolution, but you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, try to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You fake your fate, now you choke on the dead. The party of law and order, but you storm the hill. You back the blue except when you're out to kill. You wave a gun in your neighbor's face. Fake ass patriot, you're a fucking disgrace. History watch while you took your stand. We saw what you did all across this land. American patriots don't kneel to a king. You're a fucking simp sucking that cinnamon ring. You are a king, not a constitution. You crave control, not a revolution, but you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. You traded your hood for a MAGA hat. The mark of the beast, you believe in that. You don't believe the words that you shout. You chant just to drown out the doubt. You were born to lose and you still started this game. The fire is coming and we are the flame. We're gonna tear it down, bury it 6 foot deep, and we'll never forget that you're a sheep. You are a king, not a constitution. You break control, not a revolution, but you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 26, 47. 1, 2. He wraps himself in red, white, blue, and lies. Makes empty oaths and louder bases boast. He stokes the fire, civil reason dies, and feeds the walls of anti-loyal hoes. He plays the strong and bladders for a ghost. The sirens feast and tear freedom for stealth. His throne is built on smoking shit posts. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Let liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who try to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He scores people who bled for law and land, and praises the mob that stormed the sacred floor. A coward's grin, a scepter in his hand. He chooses chaos, shatters every door. His pledges rot the meaning nevermore. He trade the truth of treason, gain renown, and still he begs for power, blood, and war. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, let liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand him, not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He turns his back while tyrannies grow bold. He whispers secrets where the hawk should warn, and all for what? Some towers fake and gold. A name embalmed in scandal, loud and worn. No honor here, just falling to be mourned. A fraud and silken jester in a gown. The gospel's house of shame we won't adorn. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Let liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down.
Now it's time for the throw punch!
you.
Yes.
I just had to up my volume enough that I can hear with my headphones around my neck because I couldn't get it to stay on my ears. So
You can't do the backwards.
no, it's
Jordy
good.
Forge.
See, no, it just wants to fall right off.
Oh, see, you gotta have a fat head like I do. So.
Yeah.
How am I? Can you hear me all right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, we can hear you just fine. How's it going?
Cool. Good. How are you?
I'm actually gonna take it off. I just was making sure I had it
Yeah.
on at the beginning to prove that I did. Prove that I could.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually drop mine because.
Hey, stand by for a sec.
Oh boy, ooh, it's a little warm in here for that. Also, my cat is weirded out by the hat, so.
Oh, there you go.
Put it back there for now. Okay, so.
Why is FedEx driving up at my house? I'm not expecting anything.
You know who else used a FedEx truck?
Yeah. Yep, they kept going. They were probably lost. I get that a lot.
Good times, good times. All right. So, for everybody who has no idea who you are because they live under a rock, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself because who knows you better than you?
Well, I started out as Resistor Vic, and then here a couple of months ago, I decided that I had to run for state representative because my current state representative is a Proud Boy 3%er piece of shit. I couldn't find somebody else to run against him, and told my wife I wanted to run, and she's like, nope, absolutely not. We've done campaigns before, not again. And then I told her one morning before I went to work, I was kind of chicken shit about it. I waited till I was about to walk out the door, and I said, I'm running. And I just told her I couldn't not run against this guy. I mean, like I told you in my email, February 10th of last year, he literally physically led the House Republicans to turn their backs on a group of veterans as they were talking to the House about the J6 pardons. And I'm a veteran. My dad was a veteran. My grandpa's a veteran. I got veterans going every generation back to 1776. And there's no way in hell that I could sit by and watch this guy run unopposed.
That's how a lot of these guys get into office. Nobody really mounts an effective campaign against them. So,
or even a campaign at all.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks this is a really ruby red district, but it's not. He's only there because he hasn't had any competition before.
Oh, and
So
even if it was,
you're running for Congress.
No,
right? Is it U.S. Congress?
Colorado State House District 47, which is the
Colorado
lower right quadrant of Colorado.
All right. So I had that kind of backwards. You were
I had run for Congress before. The picture that you had on the promo slide, it looks like it came off of my congressional campaign.
Yeah. So we are kind of, one of the things that we're supposed to do is reach out and have the guest provide their own headshot so that we get the one that they want. And we're kind of doing some some handing off of stuff back and forth. And I think Janet's coming back in soon. So I was like, all right, let me go run a Google image search. There weren't a lot for me to choose from for some reason. Like when I had to type out like your whole name and put Resistor in front of it and then put Colorado. And I was like, okay, here we go. And then they have to be a certain resolution. Like I can't take small pictures. It's got to be something that's decent size because the flag itself is like 3,000 pixels by 3,000 pixels or 2,500 or something. So it's got to be a high res picture because if it's not, then it gets all blurry and pixelated. So I was like, all right, let me go through these and find one that looks relatively innocuous and has, the other thing is like the background. Like if if the background is like really busy,
Yeah.
the crop. It's not difficult, but it takes more time than just
Right.
hitting the wand and getting shapes. So
Well, you got a younger, better looking version of me, so I got no complaints.
yeah. So and I also waited till the last minute because I had to take a weekend off and like completely leave the internet because
I know how that is.
it's been a rough time. And
Yeah.
And then you come back and you're like, that's why I left.
yeah. So Monday morning was like getting caught up at work because, working overtime and whatnot, and getting back into the swing of things was really difficult. And I just completely let it slip. And then this morning was helping to manage a crisis. And I was like, oh, fuck, I got to get that StreamYard thing set up because I don't want this guy to think I'm a douchebag flake or whatever. So I'm like racing through the internet and I'm like, oh, God. So
I know the struggle. I'll be there half an hour before one of my podcasts will start and think, oh, crap, it's only half an hour away.
Yeah. I got to set like several alarms throughout the day. And one of them is like, don't forget to send out the StreamYard stuff if you haven't done so already. And the other one is like, start the stream for the music. And then the other one is like, go live. So
Yeah, I mean, I had to like rush through making a drink and some food and letting my dog out because I was playing fucking Warframe, and then I looked at my watch. I'm like, oh shit.
I wish I could just like that's what I wanted to be doing. In 2024, I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to a couple of years of just playing video games and waiting until April to do Confederate Heritage Month posts. And then, every now and then I'll make a shouty rant video. And I was like, no, that was not to be.
I had no idea you were a musician too.
Yeah, me either. No. I've been playing bass since I was about 8, and then I started learning to play guitar when I was about 14, and then there were some other instruments involved because I was in the band Geek Mafia, and then I learned how to play bagpipes, and I probably about 12 years ago started learning drums. So
wow. I had a guitar for like 30 years that I never learned how to play.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I finally gave it to my daughter's band teacher.
Yeah, I can do a couple chord progressions, but nothing crazy.
All right, so for real, if you use drop D tuning on just the lowest string, you can literally just use a single finger like you're a blues guitar player, sliding it up and down. That's your chord. So you don't have to learn power chords or any of the regular chords. So you can use that just to start learning how to make tunes sound relatively coherent. And then you start learning, chord progression and stuff like that with the actual chords playing in regular pattern. I don't know what they call it because I
always saw myself as more of a picker.
You can do that too. Like there's a couple of different styles of bass guitar that I play. And sometimes I play my bass guitar like a lead guitar because like I'll just get into it. I'm like, I'm enjoying the thing. I'm like, yeah, let's throw in a little frill here. And I'm like, I can improve on that thrill. So I'll be like, just then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, calm down, Ace Frehley with the bass guitar.
So I did have a question, Vic. So you entered the race a couple months ago, right?
Right.
So far, what's the opposition been like? How's what's the enemy situation?
Less than 24 hours after I announced, he put up some crazy ass Facebook post accusing me of sending somebody out to his ranch to harass his family. And he said, local law and state patrol have been notified. Well, if you harass the family of a state legislator and you call the law, they're going to make reports on that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So I called the sheriff and I called the state patrol, and they're like, nah, dude, we don't have any reports. Because for all I know, maybe somebody did go out there because they don't like him and he just associated it with me, but there was no reports. So I made a video, posted it that same night, and I don't know if I should say how many thousands of dollars I raised off of that video.
Yes, I
You
feel like
should.
you should.
You should.
You definitely
Rub
should.
salt in the wounds.
I raised $10,000 in 24 hours on that video.
Of course,
All right.
I could
All
do
right.
that. Which is, hey, it's Big Sarge. Send me your money.
Hey, I've got the greatest internet followers, social media followers of any content creator. They're awesome.
I don't know.
Tim, we could argue that we have better ones, but
I've-
social media
I've seen
followers
this.
is how you got stuck with me. So
I've seen his social media. It's pretty legit. I was like, okay, this dude's got his shit together. I'm envious. I'm like, he's gonna be on our live stream? What?
I just started making videos one day when Kamala Harris was the apparent nominee for the Democrats. I said to myself, she's going to need some help. And I made a Facebook video and literally nobody saw it. And I had this TikTok account that I'd posted one video on a couple of years before, Raz and Lauren Boebert. And I thought, well, let me try that TikTok thing. So I put it on TikTok and that video exploded. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me make another one. And the next thing you know, I'm doing videos every single day and I'm getting a big following. So I just kept doing it. And then I started YouTube and Substack, and I'm Resistor Vic on all those. And now I'm on monetizing Facebook too. So
yeah, remember.
All right, so I got your picture
Oh, go
here,
ahead.
and I'm gonna share this screen real fast. If I can figure out which one of these stupid buttons. Oh, here we go. All right. Like I haven't done this a billion times. All right, share screen, share window. There we
Tim,
go. All right.
Tim, you can't share what's on your screen unless you just like stop reading chat.
well, you're better at this than I am. And I use Stream.
All right. So this is dipshit Proud Boy Ty Winter with his state level Republican bootlickers that have turned their backs on veterans in the state house.
All those people on their phones, and that one guy that looks like he's sleeping, and there's Ty talking to one of his buddies, and those guys standing at the podium are veterans, and they were talking in support of a resolution to condemn the J6 pardons. And he's the assistant minority leader. He was the one who led that.
And this is why I say that Republicans don't give a shit. Republican politicians don't give a shit about veterans.
No,
It is shit like
They never
this.
have. Well, I mean, to them, we're just fucking props to get another re-election. That's it.
and about a week ago, he had the gall to stand, because you can watch the feed from the State House. He's standing up there next to a veteran at the podium talking about some small bill for monuments and stuff, talking about how we need to honor and cherish our veterans. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Honor these nuts, bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, it like seeing all these kinds of things. It reminds me of the first video I saw from you. And actually, I rewatched it earlier today about where you talked about like was it like a town hall where a fella came up as an ex-Republican and talked about how concerned he was about the rhetoric of Republicans being evil, but like, I just
they are. I mean,
I'm not a religious person by any means, but like it, what else can you call it?
there's not another word for me. I mean,
Yeah.
And when we talk about Republicans, I don't know how old you guys are, but when I was a kid, all of the Republicans were railing against everything that this Republican Party is doing.
I mean,
The
I'm young enough that I have never known a Republican Party that acted any different than this current one, to be honest. So
I'm sorry.
I enlisted in peacetime in the early 90s. So that's how old I am. And I remember when the Republican Party turned away from veterans, and it was the Tea Party. So
Newt
all those
Gingrich.
Tea Party sumbitches can kiss the fattest part of my fat Scottish arse. That's when it was 2007. That's when it started. And I presume it actually was well before that, but you know.
Yeah, they've always wanted to hug us and wrap a flag around us for a photo op when it comes to campaign time, but they've
Yeah.
never really cared. They've never supported
not
the
at all.
veterans, especially.
I mean, even looking back throughout history, so much of what the Republicans do now are things that, like Reagan did half this shit too, and it's only when it starts to when reality really hits the wall and somebody gets as mask off as Trump does that people are like, wait a minute, this sucks actually.
Eisenhower was the last Republican that cared about veterans.
So I am friends with, I'm associates, acquainted with Katie from 50501 Veterans. Shout out to Katie if you're watching.
Hi, Katie.
Katie and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and she said something that I had kind of in my brain, it made sense, but when she put it into words, I legitimately almost started to cry, because it was like an epiphany, like just hearing the words vocalized. And what she said to me, and I'm not going to get this correct because I don't remember the specific verbiage, but essentially what she said was, people in the military tend to presume that it's Republicans who love the military because when Republicans are in charge of the budget, it's the military that gets all the good shit, the fun toys, the really expensive stuff. They want the military to be able to kick the shit out of people. But once they leave, it's actually the Democrats who care more about the veterans and making sure that the VA is funded and that legislation gets passed to help veterans, especially combat veterans. And when she said that, I was like, I felt like I had opened the door to a really cold walk-in freezer on a hot Atlanta, Georgia day. I was like, oh, like it made so much sense to me. I'm like, that is the way that I have felt, and I've not ever really had anybody put it into words. And when she put it into words for me, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Katie is great, so I love her for that.
You know what I can't figure out is there are a handful of veteran Republicans in Congress, and those guys go right along with the VA cuts and the bullshit that Trump is doing without any protest. I can't figure that out.
Well, it's because they get in bed with the military industrial complex, which doesn't care about anything but creating more war to make more money. So
Yeah.
any money, any single dollar that goes to anything beyond buying weapons is, in those people's eyes, a waste of money. I mean, they sell their soul to the devil, stab their country and fellow veterans in the back.
So, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we had Brian McInnes on the stream, the Marine who had his arm broken by the Navy SEAL guy. And it turns out that guy does a lot of investments at the most auspicious moments when he makes a great profit by doing his investments and then turn around and selling off stock and stuff like that. So he's actually a multimillionaire. And so it makes sense to me that, these politicians that make a ton of money don't need the VA, because they can just literally walk into the hospital and like hold up a credit card and be like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll have 7 kidneys removed. I don't know. That's hyperbole, but the point is these guys are wealthy enough where it's just not an issue for them. But for the average, Vietnam, Korea, World War II, even post 9/11 guys, now we're getting in our 40s and 50s and shit, and it's like, we're average Joe, and we need the VA if you even believe in going to the VA, because there are a lot of people who are just like, I've heard so many bad stories, or I've had bad experiences where I don't want to go there, and I don't want to have to deal with that bureaucracy. Plus, it sucks. So it's like
I do kind of have active beef with the VA right now, so it's like I'm
yeah.
up there. They won't send me my fucking meds.
Yeah. My dad lived an extra 20 years because of the VA. He was a truck driver. He didn't have money for health care. It was only the VA that kept him going. And he never had one single complaint about any of the care that he got at the VA.
Yeah. It's I think what a lot of people don't realize is that, or specifically people on the right don't realize, is that VA healthcare is very high quality. The only problem I've ever had is with their automated systems and the bureaucracy, right? And all that stuff has been intentionally gutted by Republicans. The same way, people will complain about long lines for NHS in the UK, right? It's good quality healthcare. You can't get the healthcare because they gutted it to privatize it.
Right. So here's $1 million question, and this is a lot of what my campaign's about. As the federal government under Trump keeps cutting and destroying our systems and our programs, how do we still take care of people? And the answer is we have to make our states stronger and able to do that. And that's basically the kernel of my plan for representing my district, is to build up the systems, take away access to all of the facial recognition cameras and license plate readers and all of our data, so that the government can't share it, the state government and local government can't share it with the feds, and then build up our schools and our hospitals. And if we can do that, I mean, Minnesota has a great hospital system, a state hospital system, or state healthcare, I should say. And there's no reason why we can't do that in Colorado, so that the veterans, when the VA gets chopped more and more from the Trump administration, they'll be able to go to the state healthcare system and still get their needs taken care
of. I want to pivot slightly off into left field, not too much. So you're a veteran, and I remember reading when I was doing some research on what kind of questions I could feasibly get away with asking. I read you're in the 101st Airborne, and you were a Chinook crew chief, or
I had my own Chinook. I was flight engineer, crew chief, then flight engineer. Yeah.
Oh, my grandfather was also in the 101st Airborne, actually.
The only thing that I liked flying in that had, that was not fixed wing, other than a CH-47, was I once had the privilege to ride on one of those gigantic freaking Marine Corps MH-53s.
The Ospreys?
Super Stallion. No. That's this is like the giant helicopter. It's got
okay.
Oh, it is so huge. Anyway, CH-47. I knew a couple of CH-47 pilots that were always like, "Hey, you guys, they were co-located with us. So you guys want to do some flying stuff?" And we're like, "Okay, cool, sure, yeah, let's set it up." We were making up bullshit missions. And we're like, "We're gonna go do aerial visual reconnaissance for insertion zones," because it was all shit hooks, what we called them. But it was such a dream to ride in, especially this is the stupidest correlation I know, but you remember those vans, the old 70s vans that had a little bubble window in the back?
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of, because I had a relative who had one of those. I loved riding that thing, and then so the Chinook's got the little. It's stupid, I know, but also there's so much room in there.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the only reason that I liked riding in a Blackhawks was doors open
Yard
and
guard.
watching that. There's always that one guy who's like, "Oh, I'm gonna sit right here in the doorway," and he would sit in that one seat in the very back that's all the way on the edge. And as soon as the door's open, this is what your face was like the whole way. So I loved watching that guy. I realized what a dumbass he was. But that other than, I was like, okay, are we going on the Chinook? Oh yes.
Yeah, when I was
Anyway,
in,
sorry.
the Blackhawks were fairly new, and they had lots of problems. So, like when we were in Honduras, we had to go rescue a Huey that went down near the El Salvador border, and they were like, "Okay, who wants to ride out in the Blackhawk? Who wants to ride out in the Huey?" We were fighting to ride in the Huey.
I mean, if you haven't ever ridden in a Huey and you pass on the opportunity,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I've ridden in Hueys because we had some National Guard guys that needed to get trained, and they all flew Hueys. And I was like, oh yeah, man, can we wear our ODs for this? So it's like I wanted to do the Vietnam experience because just the rotors on those things, the sound that they make is iconic. And I was like, oh man, I want to do some tour of duty A-team in platoon shit just to hear that noise.
My prep for going down to Honduras was to get as much music from the 60s as I could. And
if you don't play Fortunate Son, are you really what are you doing with your life? That's like a rite of passage. Oh man, I could like nerd out about helicopters like all night, but
I've never been in a helicopter.
The whole campaign was talking about.
I was a Semper sometimes. I was a Semper sometimes. We didn't get to do cool shit.
I don't even
get a full GI Bill, dude. What makes you think I got to be in a helicopter? I don't even get my full GI Bill. What makes you think I get to go in a helicopter?
Well, you're young. You know, you might get a chance someday.
Maybe.
It's an experience. Like,
it's an experience I want to have, to be clear. But
if people like never get that opportunity, especially people in the military, because they go hand in hand almost. I don't want to say I pity you because that just sounds sanctimonious, but like I genuinely feel a twinge of regret on your behalf because it's such like the only thing that beats riding on them would be, in my opinion, to be able to fly them. Like I know a couple of aviators, and I'm just like, oh man, that must be so wild.
I almost went to flight school.
I may not have gotten to go on a helicopter, but I did get my foot stuck in the Humvee rollover simulator constantly every time we did it. Our size 15 and a half.
You'll definitely go for a ride that way, I guess.
So I always got stuck in the rollovers. Fucking hate Humvees.
They have Humvee simulators.
Yeah. So when I got out in 23. I went to Guantanamo Bay in 2022, and around that time is when they were introducing the JLTVs, which are just essentially supposed to replace both the Humvee and the MRAP. But I mean, every year we would have to do a Humvee rollover simulator just to like be like, oh, you're in a Humvee, you get flipped over, what do you do? Well, I get stuck because I'm 6'4" in this fucking tiny ass box, and then I managed to get my ass out. Hopefully, I didn't break my neck on the ceiling. So, JLTVs, we also had to do a rollover simulator for the JLTV. A lot roomier, but I also hate the JLTV because it's an overdesigned piece of trash. But that's neither here nor there.
So the rollover simulators came about because Iraq in particular has a lot of canals, and they're not shallow. I mean, it doesn't even have to be more than like 2 or 3 feet deep. But if you're in a Humvee and that fucker flips over, and you can't, and you're like, you're wearing your seatbelt or whatever, and the thing rolls over, you're stuck upside down. It only takes from here up to kill you. So there were always people that would accidentally roll over into a canal or whatever, go off road, or some kid runs out in front of you, intentionally runs out in front of you to make you veer off, or God forbid, you're trying to dodge a pile of trash that looks suspiciously like it could hold an IED.
Yeah,
People are like, I'll take my chances in the canal. Also, those canals are kind of nasty, but that's beside the point. They have rollover simulators for Humvees now because of the insurgency in Iraq, where a number of people
the
just couldn't get
simulators
out of the vehicle.
themselves are kind of funny because they literally just take a Humvee chassis and basically put it on a rotisserie.
Yeah, it's
Right?
just a high-powered big engine with a pivot.
Yeah.
Just like, let's just spit roast it and flip it over.
And they just flip you over and they end at a random side.
I was supposed to be in a Chinook simulator once for a rollover, but there was a bunch of C-Box problems just before we were getting ready to go to Honduras, and they canceled all the training. So I missed out on that. But they roll it over and then drop you in a giant swimming pool.
Yeah, no, I know some Marines who had to do that training as well. I'm an Iron Duck, so thankfully I never did that because I would probably just straight up die. But
I want to say, because I served, I had one little day of, let's just call it a very interesting day down in Guatemala. But it was absolutely nothing compared to what you guys went through who went over Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff. So, I admire the hell out of you guys who went over there and
that's all Tim. I'm a non-combat vet, so I can't lay claim to that. But
yeah.
I haven't been to Guatemala, but I have been to Panama to go to the jungle. I remember more about the sharks than I do the jungle warfare training center. That's how old I am.
Well, mine was just, I didn't even know we were being shot at. I kept hearing the snap, wing. Like, what the hell is that? Heard it like 3 or 4 times, and then I looked up and saw the guy running at us with a pistol, and the Guatemalans took him out right about the same time. I was like, oh, that's what that was. And yeah, that kind of rattled me a little bit. One of my pilots was a soldier of the army, the soldier of the army. He was a Warrant 1, and he got to Warrant School because he made it to soldier of the army. And he was super gung-ho. I mean, this guy was, and he was a great guy. He was a really nice guy. But he was super gung-ho, get some all the time. And he was there when that happened. And within a day or two, he had to come back stateside because he got rattled. I got all philosophical about it. Like, this guy wants to kill me just because I'm wearing an American uniform with a flag on it. I didn't do anything. We were carrying food. What are we doing wrong?
So I wasn't even in the military yet. First time I ever got shot at. It was. I was at work actually. I was still in high school, and it was I was working at a skating rink, and the skating rink had just bought a putt-putt golf course that was right across the parking lot. We shared the same parking lot, and they decided to buy that property. and I had to go over there for, I don't even remember what the manager was like, hey, I need you to go over to the putt putt and get so and so to come back over here, whatever. And I was walking across the parking lot, and all of a sudden I'm walking past this truck, and the window blows out, and I'm like, what was that? And I hear, and I was like, hit the ground and like rolled away underneath somebody's truck that's being shot. I think it was just random. And yeah, so.
And you thought that was so much fun, I'm going to join the army.
I know, right? I was like, let me go join the military in peacetime. I'll be safe there. Fucking
Oops.
what? 6, 7 years later. The math ain't math. Yeah, 7 years later. How wrong I was.
How long do you think it's going to be before we start seeing 60s type protests on the Washington Mall over this Iran stuff?
I am, part of me is like, why are we not doing this now? But then another part of me is like, it makes total sense that all these internet slacktivists don't want to go out there and protest, because it's like, oh, I could just change my profile picture on social media to the picture of an Iranian flag to show my support for the people of Iran. That's called internet slacktivism. So on the one hand, I'm like, why are we not doing this? But on the other, I'm also like, I know why. Because
I think if calmer heads don't prevail and Trump starts doing some of the things he wants to do, or Hegseth starts doing the stuff that he's gung-ho to do, I think that we might start seeing some real protests about it.
So that actually,
not to say that 501 and No Kings aren't real protests. That's not what I'm saying at all.
So 50501 Veterans, which is the organization that I mentioned, Katie, I just called it 50501 and completely screwed that up. So 50501 Veterans and a whole bunch of other veterans organizations actually just did a protest in I think the Rotunda yesterday, and
I saw that.
They all got arrested. They were there specifically to protest the war in Iran. And I feel like there needs to be more of that.
Yeah.
Protesting, but also like, what does it say about a government that's like, we're going to arrest a couple hundred veterans because they dared to protest? If you look at the pictures, like if you go look at 50501 Veterans Facebook or any of the groups that participated, there are veterans in wheelchairs. Mm-hmm. That the Capitol Police are they're cuffing them to their chairs with their little flexi zip tie, whatever.
Right.
Flexi cuffs. There's an official name for it, but I call them zip
flexi
ties.
cuffs.
So, yeah. And it's like, what kind of America hating piece of shit do you have to be to arrest a veteran in a wheelchair? Like, where are they they're not gonna run away. That's literally, there's probably a bad joke in there somewhere, but I mean, like, if you can't catch a veteran in a wheelchair, maybe don't be a fucking police officer. It's just.
Well, I imagine at least some of those police officers were veterans and hating what they had to do.
I would love to have Harry Dunn or Michael Fanone on the stream to talk about what type of mentality it must be for their former fellow brethren Capitol Police officers and I get that this was not their decision, that they probably were told by some officiant in the Capitol building to arrest these dudes, but it's like, that's supremely bad optics. Like, how many Vietnam veterans that came back from Vietnam that protested during the Vietnam War, how many of them got arrested?
Or how many veterans who came back from World War I and protested to have any care at all for what they had to go through?
Yeah.
But it was probably better for what they were doing. It was probably better that they got
good optics for them
and zip tied, because that's going all over the place and everybody's seeing it and everybody's saying, would it have been that hard for Mike Johnson to come down and talk to him?
Druggle, to answer your question about why the zip ties, I was an MP. I can answer this. The reason why the zip ties is because cuffs are issued and they cost money.
Right.
The flexi cuffs, they're cheap, they're efficient. You can get a bunch of them out there. You don't have to have 8 billion different pouches to carry like 8 billion different sets of cuffs. So if you have to arrest a lot of people at once, it is the cheapest, most efficient option. That's why.
All right. I got a question for you then. So I used to work in a prison, and every now and then you get a really big guy, and you couldn't just take your cuffs out and cuff him because it just flat out wasn't going to work.
Right.
So you might use 2 pair of cuffs, or you might use leg irons instead. What do you do when you're using flex cuffs and the guy's too big to get the flex cuffs on?
You know, that never came up in training. Yeah, no, I mean, they're usually pretty wide, so I feel like you'd be hard pressed to find somebody where they wouldn't fit, because like a pair of flexi cuffs, it's like this is how roughly how big the bar is, and then they're huge
Right.
loops. So
But you wouldn't be able to close them down if the hands don't come close enough. You wouldn't be able to close them down on the bar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bar itself is usually much further apart than like your traditional handcuffs. So like that might be what the solution is supposed to be there for it. But yeah, I mean,
I never thought about that until just
yeah,
now.
no, I never thought about that either. I was a field MP, so like it wasn't my problem. I was not the kind of MP that actually did law enforcement, you know?
What did you do then? Like,
So what field MPs do, field MPs are really weird. But what field MPs are supposed to do is basically go out in country and be like a weird jack of all trades hybrid in between of not anywhere the same as infantry, not anywhere near the same as intel, but able to do a little bit of both while doing mostly first and second block warfare stuff, as well as guarding bases and doing security convoys and all that stuff. So what field MPs will mostly train, not to the same standard, but most of my training was spent doing training infantry tactics and all that stuff, so that, you know, in the event that I ever did go, you know, in country, and, you know, the veterans that were in my unit who did, they mostly just did like first and second block war security patrols, you know, and got shot at, right? And then run some guys' fingerprints in the I can't remember the name of the system, but the portable like Intel database thing. And then crucially, actually, one of the biggest things field MPs do is tactical site exploitation. So, you know, I mean, you guys all saw how the after Osama bin Laden was killed, how the SEALs just kind of went through and ransacked shit and just took all the important shit.
Right.
It's that's tactical site exploitation. So
I remember like I had a neighbor, like our barracks at one of my duty stations was shared with MPs. They tried to keep them on separate floors because we didn't mix well.
You never do.
But I had the guy who lived in the room next to me was an MP, and one day I was out in the common area, and I don't even remember what I was doing, but I saw him, and I'm like, hey, let me ask you a question, because I see you're getting ready to go to the field, which is what I was doing. I was like, what do MPs do in the field? Do you guys like guard POWs? He's like, no, the band guards POWs. And I was like, really? So you're telling me that the guy that's up there playing the clarinet in his uniform, when he deploys to the field, if he deploys to the field, they're guarding POWs? He's like, yep.
I don't know what that's all about. I did a lot of training for detainee ops. So
If
my
anybody
final
tries to escape,
exercise-
the guy on the tuba lets everybody know.
yeah, my final exercise at MP school was
He's loose.
my final exercise at MP school back in Fort Leonard Wood was straight up like a foot patrol to a mout town, filled with role players, many of which were role playing civilians. We staged in the tree line outside the mout town, tossed smoke grenades, went through the smoke, cleared out a building real quick, found the guy we were looking for, snatched him, and left. That was the culminating event of my final exercise in MP school. So
That doesn't sound like a detainee guarding a detainee. That sounds like
well, you pick up the detainee and then you have to guard him.
Yeah, we had to go pick up the detainee from his house.
Right. But I did have a question, which talking about the protests made me think of. So Vic, I see on your platform that like a key issue for you is supporting union organizing.
Yep.
And I'm curious what you see the role of unions moving forward in this fight against fascism might look like, if you have an answer for that.
I want to see unions take more of a lead and not even necessarily take it, but I think that the Democratic Party, the real Democrats, not the Chuck Schumer type Democrats, but the real Democrats should be going out there and seeking the leadership of the unions because they know how to organize. They've got people in every state. They've got everything nailed down. They could really help if we could get them to trust us, because frankly, the Democratic Party over the last 40 years has been giving the unions a lot more lip service than actual service. So I think that if we could, we've got to build the unions back up to build the middle class back up. And I think that it would be a great partnership. But again, we have to get them to trust us. Now, what the Trump administration and the Republicans are doing to the unions should make it a little easier. But then you got right here in Colorado, we've got the Worker Protection Act passed last year. Democratic governor vetoes it. It's going to pass again this year. That same garbage governor is going to veto it again. And there was a bill in the legislature that just got passed that was co-sponsored by Democrats that took, I don't know if you know it, but when the original Fair Labor Standards Act was passed, it excluded farm workers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it excluded farm workers, and that was all a racist bullshit thing. So in Colorado in 2021, we said, nope, it's going to apply. And then they half-assed it. They left it to the Department of Labor to set the overtime standards for farm workers. And my opponent voted for this, and a lot of Democrats voted for it. I think my opponent co-sponsored, if my memory's correct. It's a bill that says that the farm workers don't get overtime until they hit 56 hours. So they have to work an extra 2 days worth before overtime kicks in for them. So again, when we do that, when Democrats do things like that, it makes it hard for us to go to the union and say, trust us. But if we would give them a reason to trust us and we could work with them, I think they could be a key factor in fighting back this fascist nonsense that's going on from the federal level.
Yeah, part of why I ask is because of what Norma Tranquil 9150 actually just said in the chat is I don't know how it is in Colorado. I live in central Pennsylvania. It's pretty fucking red here, right? But like a lot of UNU members, lean more MAGA, and I don't know. From where I'm sitting, in my perspective, I think honestly our only way out of this entirely is going to be being able to organize like mass striking in the long term to be able to force, even the fucking quislings like Chuck Schumer and the Democratic Party to listen to our demands and actually listen to the voice of the people. I feel like that MAGA saturation in a lot of unions though is a weird barrier. Do you think just
There's a way.
reaching out to unions to give them a reason to trust us will be enough to start making a dent in that?
Well, as this Trump administration goes on, we're seeing that all those MAGA guys in the unions that voted for Trump voted for him because the Democrats kept letting him down. And Trump is here promising higher wages, promising a better economy, promising lower grocery prices. He was making all of these promises to the unions that the Democrats weren't making. And now all these MAGA guys in the unions should be seeing by now that Trump was full of shit. And the only ones that are sticking with it are the ones who are sticking with it because they're racist or misogynist.
They're too far gone, and we're not reaching them anyway.
But we could. I mean, I think it's starting to become apparent that it's not about Republicans and Democrats as much as it is those of us at the bottom against those up at the top. And the unions, if we want to have a national general strike, the unions are the ones who know how to do that. They're the ones who could organize it.
Yeah, they're
better than anybody.
They would have to be at the cornerstone of a movement like that. There's no other option.
Right. The question is, can we do
the
it?
liberal organizers out there that keep hounding us to get in on their general strike idea, my response to that is, sure. When you talk to all, 20% of the unions in the country and get them to endorse it and agree to take action on it, because otherwise, motherfucker, I gotta eat.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't get paid if I don't work. I can't go on strike. They'll just be like, okay, fine, go on strike.
Even in Minneapolis, where they only had they only had their general strike there for a day, and it was mostly a show of force and a threat that they could, but that only worked. That was only able to be backed up because the unions in Minneapolis actually have a friend who's a member of a union around Minneapolis who participated in that. But only because of that union participation. So there was that legitimate threat of, we can make this not a day. We can make this as long as we need to. So
it's things as bad as things are. It's not bad enough yet for a sustained general strike.
The thing is, though, and I don't mean to, neg anybody's opinion, but so I still have family that live overseas, and I have a lot of friends. And there are also a lot of people that follow Sons of Liberty that are overseas that are not Americans, and their whole thing is like, why are you guys not out in the streets every single day protesting? It's like, we don't have universal health care. We don't have universal basic income. We don't have the type of safety nets that you have over there. And we can't afford to miss a single day of work. That's literally, and the reason why you tend to see so many Republicans that are out there like going around, they're clearly not working, but they can spend all day, every day for 2, 3, 4 weeks walking around with a cell phone camera, asking gotcha questions to people. And the reason is because those are the people that make a fuck ton of money and don't work a regular job. Whereas all these other guys, that they don't even have to be leftists. They could be centrist libertarians. They could even be Republican voters. But we don't have the ability to just say, you know what, I can't go to work today. I have to go protest. Right. plan at least a month and a half in advance and be like, all right, there's like 2 bosses that I gotta ask at, multiple jobs. I need these days off. Do I have the overtime to fund my travel? Do I have the ability to, am I gonna can I use PTO days for this, or it's just no chance of me if I don't get paid one single day,
It hurts.
I gotta make a brand new T-shirt to sell to liberals and hope that they like it, because the last one that I did was briskets and titties at their request, and it
I
didn't go
like
over well
that.
at all.
I like
So
that shirt.
it's got to be a hit. I do have a shirt idea though that I'm gonna put up in the store, and it's "Dead Men Don't Rape."
Ooh,
I like that one
shit
too.
up.
that'll
Etsy's
sell.
gonna take down though. I guarantee you, Etsy's be like, "You're inciting violence again." So it's gonna be a crapshoot. Anyway, I can't miss a day of work, and I know there are tens of thousands of people that would otherwise be out there protesting, except for the fact that protests only really work when it's on a work day, and that work day inconveniences politicians. If you're protesting on a Saturday, standing on the side of the road, you're literally just waving a sign. And that is one reason why I have always consistently said negative things about protests that are really just rallies.
Well,
If your
and they
protest
are,
does not
and that's
inconvenience
the.
people,
I've got some flack from some locals because I haven't been at enough protests. It's not that I don't want to. It's that I 20 miles into town, but protesting isn't for everybody. And it's about the good thing about protest is they do help you build a sense of community. You go out there and you know that you're not alone in the way you're feeling about this. And community is one of the most important things that we need to be building right now, because that's something that tyranny cannot overcome.
It's the lack of community, the erosion of community that's even led to this tyranny being possible.
Yeah,
In
Yeah.
a lot of
we've got to
cases.
get it back.
there's also
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
100%.
that's a valid point. I just keep thinking back to
there's
Cat
also
Williams.
there's also some utility in it. I was watching an interview that Jennifer Welch on the I've Had a Podcast, shout out Jennifer Welch, was doing with the guy, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy who wrote the book on tyranny, and he was talking
Tim
about
Snyder.
Tim Snyder, thank you. And he was talking about Viktor Orban, and he mentioned things like the No Kings protests being the fact that there's still that many people out there demonstrating their discontent is something that gives authoritarian governments pause, and thinking they can get away with stupid shit like sending ICE to polling locations and whatnot.
Right.
And it could still be more efficient for sure, right? Like I think we I do think a lot of our protests now need to be more disruptive, because I think that's going to be the thing that forces our voices to be heard. But there's still some utility in those rally style protests, even if they're not exactly what we want. I think what we're missing is the variety. We only have the rally style protests. We don't have enough of the directed disruptive protests, and we need all of them, really.
I think they need to start taking the protests. Like here in Colorado, I would like to see the next time they have a big protest, if the protest is at the Capitol from 12 to 2 o'clock, then at 2 o'clock, everybody moves from the Capitol to the party headquarters for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party.
Right.
Make that the news story. We didn't just go to the Capitol where all these elected people are. We went to the party headquarters to say, you guys need to get your shit together too. Make them respond, make them feel uncomfortable. Go to the senator's office and do it. Don't just go to the Capitol where nobody's there that day.
Right. Because, I'm not going to pretend I didn't enjoy making Nancy Mace's staffers uncomfortable. One of the times I went to the Capitol, but I'm making her staffers uncomfortable. I'm not making the party uncomfortable. I'm not really
Right.
making her uncomfortable, right?
Well, and that's kind of the flip side, and kind of contradicting myself a little bit. But so many of our elected people really don't care if you're protesting, right? But if we weren't out there protesting them, then what we've seen out of the Trump administration so far would be so much worse if people weren't taking to the streets every now and then and saying, no, we're still here and we're not going to sit quietly. If we were sitting quietly, then I think it would be a lot worse.
I agree. I do agree. 100%.
Yeah, KDB, I agree, except I'm kind of already not able to spend anything that I don't have to.
And that comes back to the crux of my issue is, you know, I personally have seen people, 1,000+ people, go into a single congressional office building, and it definitely made waves. It made news. It had politicians suddenly paying attention. And I agree with you about the community building aspect, and I agree with you about the bolster to morale to see people out there doing a thing. And it can be a great way for someone who has never been to a protest before in their life to go to a rally. But if you haven't been to one in the year of our Lord Dale Earnhardt 2026 by now, what have you been doing? And I again, I get there are people out there that have to work, but there are protests like every month. And at this point, everybody should have been to a protest by at least one. And I feel that protests are more effective when there is some element of direct action associated with it, even if it is just making sure people are registered to vote, that their registration is still valid. If they're not registered to vote, helping them get registered to vote, those kinds of things. If we're all just standing around holding signs on designated protest area, it's not as effective. And the media doesn't care. They only care when it's, oh, by the way, millions of people protested across the country. Here's 300 of them in Lake Wobegon. And the vast majority of people are, that's it? That's all you had? Because they're not looking at the big city stuff. Because the average American who doesn't live in a big city doesn't care about that type of thing unless they actually win or they have a reason to be invested, which is why I personally advocate for having something happen. Go protest at congressional offices, whether it's your local office on a designated day of protests, which we have done with our partners at Flair and Citizens Impeachment, or showing up to DC and going into the halls of congresspersons and senators. But a lot of people can't afford to do that because they just, those people don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. So protests that are on weekends, like, what are we doing here?
Oh,
Again, give us some direct action.
I'll tell you how it can make a difference. One, like one of you guys just said, registering people to vote. I mean, you go look at a protest, and what do you see? You see a whole bunch of young people, right? More than anything, you see young people. But when you go and look at who votes, the young people aren't voting. If this election turns out that all of those young people who went to these protests also voted, then in the future, that makes a difference. That because then you're telling them on one day, look, here we are, you better listen to us. You didn't listen to us, we voted your ass out. And the next time the politicians see a protest like that, they're like, maybe this time we'll listen.
And I think also, like,
skeptical.
I think both sides of the argument are valid, and that's why like I said, in my opinion, I think we need a mixture of both, right? We need protests that are disruptive to where, like you said, Vic, politicians don't really care, right? They're going to care if, they can't get the work. They're going to care if they if it hurts their bottom line. They're going to care if, it's actually disrupting ability to function in good order, right?
Right.
But and that is important, right? That is how the only way to force them to care. And again, on the other hand, like just that community building, just that rallying, it's easier to get a lot turnout for that, which does matter, right? And that community building, those protests become a gateway to get people into the more directed protests, I think. And I think that's really why we still need those rally protests, even though I don't find them as effective.
It's the absence of them that would be counter effective. It would be harmful if they weren't there.
Yeah. Getting young people to vote is I feel like the reason for young people not voting is I got to work that day. That is literally the point why you should go vote. Because you live in a day and age, like I am never going to retire. At some point, I am no longer going to be marketable when I'm 70, 80 years old, and I'll have to go be a Walmart door greeter or something, someplace where they take sad old men and give them a job just that they're not out planning bank robberies or where I don't fucking know, but that idea.
Any feds who are watching, everything Big Sarge said about bank robberies was a joke, I promise.
Yeah. Because look at Point Break. Patrick Swayze and the two dudes from Red Hot Chili Peppers were at the prime of their life. And Patrick Swayze, a trained ballroom dancer, ballerina, athlete, and martial artist, getting super physical in his roles. I am a fat old veteran guy, and if you want to see me do a spinning heel kick, then you better draw it out and make an anime, because it's just not going to happen. So the idea of a 70-year-old, my idea of a 70-year-old walking into a bank to rob it is like, give me the money or I'm going to shit my... I don't know.
Right now, somebody listening is typing, make Big Sarge into AI.
Please don't use AI to make me anything. Just ask me to do it, and I will happily humiliate myself on camera for your entertainment. That's all there is to it. Young people, turn out to vote, because if you don't, you will be working every day for the rest of your life until you have literally expired. And even then, your boss is going to call up and be like, so you coming into work today? Oh, he died? Is he coming into work anyway?
Yeah.
That's the joke. That is literally the joke. If you can't make 3 hours out of your day to go vote.
Well, and when you do vote, make your politicians do what we do in Colorado. We've got mail-in voting. I get my ballot in the mail weeks before Election Day. I've got all the time in the world to look at who's on it, what issues are on it, and sit down and mark it. And then you can mail it back, but I carry it into the county courthouse, put it in the drop box. But here's my message to the young people. I mean, look at me. I'm an old guy. I'm pushing 60, right? I've been working all my life politically to try and make things better, but not enough of my generation has. When I was 18, I registered to vote on the day I turned 18. And when I tried to get my friends to register, they were like, why? We don't care. If my generation had taken their power when they were young, because the younger always outnumbers the older. The young people today have so much power, so much potential. If 70% of the young people turned out to vote, they could control the country. They could say, all right, we're going to have national health care. And if we have to cut whatever to help the old people, too bad, because you guys left us this screwed up mess. That's how I think of it. My generation left my children's generation a screwed up mess. And I would hope that they would still want to take care of us. But if it comes to between them and me, I want it to be them. And the young people could make it so that they are controlling this country.
I will take my opportunity to speak for every member of Gen Z, of which I am also a member, by saying that there ain't no reason we can't have both. You know, there ain't no reason we can't both take care of older folks and, you know, have health care and good living conditions for the younger folks. Because at the end of the day, I actually don't agree with the perspective that it's y'all's generations that left us with a mess. I think that is a way of thinking about it that we were conditioned into. But at the end of the day, it's always still it's the owner class, it's the extreme wealthy class, right? It's the capitalist class that is leaving us this mess, and it manipulates us on a generational level into fighting each other when, like you said before, Vic, it's about top versus bottom.
Yeah.
And generational solidarity matters too, I think.
Well, your generation wasn't even thought of yet when trickle-down economics was allowed to come into play. So
something to consider is when you say, well, your generation is the reason why we're in this mess. No. Yes, but no. Yes, but also no. So it's why not both? It's literally the apathy of people, voting age people who didn't go to vote that are, you know, whenever the election is, whether it's this year, the previous election, or 7 election cycles ago, when you were 18 at that point in time, whenever that was, and you decided I'm old enough to vote, but I'm not gonna because the system is already rigged. It's screwed up. My vote doesn't count. Does anybody remember the year 2000 when it was Bush versus Gore and it literally came down to, is this hanging Chad valid?
Yeah,
remember the hanging Chad?
I don't.
We had no idea who the president was going to be for many weeks after the. Usually, you know who wins the election within like a day or two of that election happening. This went on for weeks, and then right after that was the California election with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Jerry Brown.
Cruz Bustamante, I think was the guy. I think it was 26 years ago. If you're young and you're not voting because we've already screwed everything up for you, then that is part of the problem. It's not the problem. I'm not blaming you, but you are contributing to the problem as much as those of us who do go out to vote. Even if you're voting completely opposite from me and you're not voting, that's the issue. Part of me wants to say
I support
like Australia where you have to vote.
Republicans, actually. You know, if you're a Republican, don't just stay home. Don't do it.
There's a significant part of a small part of me that agrees with you, but on the other hand, we have to, you know, as veterans, it doesn't matter whose rights we fought for. We fought for everybody's rights.
To be clear, I am joking. I am.
Yeah, but there's going to be that one person who tuned in just now.
You know that I am notably very consistent on human rights or human rights. You know, but I actually after this, you know, the presidential election, where we got Trump 2.0, let's go. I hate this. I was talking to my sister's boyfriend. He lives in New Jersey. I actually just sent him a message on Discord, let him know I'm about to shit talk him on a live stream. But he lives in New Jersey, and he was very much like he didn't vote because he didn't think it mattered, right? And Trump won, and he's like, well, you know, it still wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, I live in New Jersey. New Jersey always goes blue in, you know, presidential elections. And I sat down with him because he made the mistake of saying that he didn't vote in front of me. I sat down with him and I looked up. I was like, okay, what's your address? And I looked up his district. I don't remember which district it is. And I'm like, oh, okay. Was your congressional representative up for election same day? Oh, he was. Who won? a Republican. This is all of the policies that a guy who is your district representative that you didn't vote against wants to do that fucks with my sister and your girlfriend.
There you go.
He votes now.
Yeah. Local elections.
Yeah.
Local elections are important. And
it's the local level that really, 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 really matters. And I spend a lot of time talking to other folks in Gen Z about how crucial those are and how if our vote didn't fucking matter, they wouldn't be trying to suppress our vote.
Exactly.
yeah.
And the 25-year-old guy who's running for school board today is running for
Not
Congress tomorrow.
Yeah.
Something that ties into what you were talking about is local elections. Like here in North Carolina, there's a race over somewhere in like the central part of the state where there's a sheriff that's running for office versus, I think, an incumbent. One of them is the incumbent. And that race has become very, very bitter, or it had until recently the guy finally conceded. But it literally came down to like 11 votes. And he demanded a recount after recount after recount, swore up and down that there was something going on. And it came back the exact same number every single time. And finally, he was just like, okay, all right. But it literally, that race came down to 11 votes. Now, imagine if there had been 11 people, 12 from the other side that showed up for that guy.
Yep. Lauren, everybody
80,
knows who Lauren
20.
Boebert is, right?
Yeah.
I wish
Also
I did.
that. I think we had the person that's running against Lauren on our live stream. 100% sure.
I don't
Things
remember.
tend to- yeah.
Well, now it's
you're dumped up.
Eileen Laubacher. She's going to be Boebert's opponent this year.
Okay. Yeah. Don't.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because she changed districts. That's what it was. All right.
Yeah.
If we did have her on, it wasn't one of the ones that I was also sitting in on, for sure.
Yeah. But that 537, I want to say, when she won her first re-election, she won by 530 some votes. That was like one person per precinct. That could have made the difference.
If only we had like ranked choice and just the popular vote instead of electoral college, but that's, it's neither here nor there.
That's outside the scope of Colorado politics, unfortunately. Well, ranked choice voting is
everybody's.
Does Colorado have ranked choice voting? I know some states.
There's a few municipalities that have it, I think,
Okay.
but not the state yet. There was a push to get it in the last election. There was a ballot initiative, and it lost pretty handily. I think there was a lot of misinformation about what ranked choice is and how it works. So,
is trying to get it adopted statewide like a policy position that you think you might prioritize, or is that something that you support? Or
it's something I support. It's something that I would vote for if it came up. But my priorities are, one, to, like I said earlier, prohibit any state or local government from collecting personal data on the citizens and sharing it with the federal government. And then I want to reform our prisons, because having worked there for 17 years, I know we lock up way, way too many people. We could save a shit ton of money by not locking up nonviolent people. Take the savings from that and clear the rape kit backlog in this state and other serious crimes that the CBI and the crime labs can't deal with. And we would have money left over to invest in our healthcare and our schools. Those are my priorities. And a co-op rancher program, so that, I don't know, you probably didn't see the news, but there's 4 companies that control the cattle market in this country, 80% of it. They own all of the meat packing plants. And the money that the rancher gets for the beef isn't even close to what what you and I are paying for the beef, right?
right.
They're colluding with each other, and they're driving up prices and taking wild profits.
if I recall correctly, a lot of that price gouging started during COVID, right?
Yeah. And it hasn't stopped. And Biden set up a task force to investigate it. His DOJ was investigating, and then Trump came in and shut it down. And now Trump's starting it back up and putting his name on it. But the point is, my solution for that is to have co-ops in Colorado supported by state loans and federal grants, which was also another program that was started under Biden and axed by Trump. And now Trump's trying to bring it back with 40% of the funding and totally screwing it up. But the point is, by building regional meat processing plants closer to the cattle so that the ranchers get more of the value out of their hard work and making ranching more sustainable, that helps all of our communities. Those are my priorities.
That's
Now,
very fair.
are
I mean,
you-
like it's well, as far as like the ranked choice voting, not everything can be a priority, and I do understand that. I was curious if it was something that you thought you would be able to squeeze in as well. But I'm very glad to hear though that if it came to a vote that you'd vote in favor of it. I think it's a good reform. I think every I mean, we should have it nationwide. I think, in my opinion. But
I don't know how it works in other states, but in Colorado, so when I win in November, I've got from November to January, like 6th, I think it is, to figure out the 5 bills that I want to introduce.
On that note, you're already the primary candidate for the Democratic Party, or do you still have to go through the primary?
No, I did not have a challenger, so I am the Democratic candidate for House District 47.
Outstanding. So you just have to go through the general election in
Yeah,
November.
go through to the general. Right now, I'm focused on raising money and building up campaign staff, volunteers, and then the real campaign starts in around August.
Okay. We did have a question. It was a little while ago. Somebody had asked how your campaign is going so far, and I wanted to circle back to that.
Well, we have to do our first campaign filing next week. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people surprised. I have donations from every state in the country. And it's funny because I was at a dinner last weekend at one of the counties. There's 9 counties in my district. And there were some politicos there, some people from the Denver way. And I get this look, oh, isn't that nice you're running? They don't take me seriously. My opponent is not taking me seriously because this is a quote unquote Republican district. So on one hand, one of the best things about my campaign is that everybody is underestimating me. And I think when my campaign filing comes out next week, or it's actually about 2 weeks, they're going to see how serious this campaign is, because I've already raised a lot more money than he had on hand in his last filing.
it's
And then they're going to have to take
interesting.
me serious.
It's interesting that he's not taking you seriously, considering that his first move was to try to very, very publicly discredit you and throw you under the bus.
I think if he was taking me seriously, he wouldn't have done that. I think because you got to figure this is a small town. He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Well, he's a Republican,
Yeah.
the year of our Lord 2026. So,
And a MAGA Proud Boy 3%er. I mean, he's all of those worst right-wing groups
right.
he's affiliated with. What is it? AFD, AFK, something like that?
AFD, the German far right party.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
not the German.
Oh,
There's
okay.
American Freedom. I don't know. Anyway,
All right.
he's in on all of them. He used to co-host a right-wing conspiratorial podcast that was founded or funded by the Proud Boys. So Yeah, he's not the sharpest knife. So I figured that he thought that if he was to come out like that and set the tone against me, and he thought that I would just sit there and take it, but I didn't. I didn't just call him out. I called out some of the people that were commenting on his Facebook that I know who are also racist. And I let them know that I'm here to fight, and I'm going to fight for real, and I'm coming for a seat.
Yeah, I mean that does make sense. That looking at it that way, that if he was taking you seriously, he wouldn't have tried to just intimidate you out of the way.
Yeah.
That does make sense. Yeah.
I haven't heard a peep since.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me either. I mean, all those Proud Boys 3%er types, they're all fucking pussies.
I'm curious to see if he'll have the guts to get on a stage with me. I have my doubts.
Oh, I would hammer the veteran thing incessantly. I wouldn't talk about anything else. I'd be like, yeah, that's a good question, but do you remember the time that this douchebag had all of the Republicans turn their backs on veterans? How many of those guys voted to send us to war?
I just have this mental image of him losing his shit, and you still look like just very calmly saying what you do in all your videos, just very calmly, like making him look like a complete jackass. Are you going to sell like tickets if that ever happens? Is there going to be like a popcorn vendor?
Can I be the moderator? Because
I've had people say they would buy tickets to go to a debate between us. That picture that you put up earlier, not a year ago, but several months ago, before I knew I was going to run, before I was even thinking of running, I made 6x9 cards. It's got that picture on one side, and on the back side is an explanation of what people are seeing in that picture. And I started handing them out. I take them to the grocery store with me when somebody says, thank you for your service, because they see my 101st pin or whatever. I say, well, thank you. And look at this. This is our current state representative. It's my mission to make sure every voter in this district knows what he did, how he treated our veterans on that day.
And it's such a good, like, I mean, of course, like, he doesn't only just treat veterans like shit, but that's such a good, strong visual for you, and such a stark microcosm of the just petty evilness that he represents. It's a good thing to hammer for sure.
Yeah. If I raise enough money, hint, viewers, if I raise enough money, I'm going to do TV commercials showing everybody what he did. I mean, there's no way there's no bridge I won't cross as long as it's ethical and legal. There's no bridge I won't cross to make sure everybody knows how he treated our veterans. Dude,
I can't.
Dude. What's that?
I think it's in reference to a previous post, but
last thing I saw from them is Dunning-Kruger MAGA are delusional about their own abilities and contemptuous of anyone to their left, which, very based, very real, and very true.
I've been drinking, so I'm not the person.
I think we're witnessing the death of the Republican Party. Did I say that earlier?
You did not. No.
I think that 6 to 8 years from now, the Republican Party won't be any bigger than the Greens or the Libertarians. They will be disqualified from a lot of, because right now the Democrats and the Republicans are automatically on the ballot, or have a ballot position, I should say, in every state in the nation. But if either party gets below a certain threshold of votes received, then they no longer have that automatic status. And I think we're on the verge of seeing the Republicans drop below that threshold And then you'll have the Democratic Party, which will divide up between the centrists, the Chuck Schumers, the Hakeem Jeffries, the Michael Bennett's and them. You'll have that wing of the Democratic Party, and then you'll have the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, which will be people like AOC,
Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan,
Yep.
Max Frost.
Ilhan Omar is so cool. I
Yeah.
love Ilhan Omar so much.
Is the Dem Party supportive in any way? So here's the thing. The Dem Party, the local Democratic Party is bloody awesome. The state Democratic Party and I do not have a cordial relationship, I guess you could say. I'm not a big fan of the guy running the party because he's literally a political consultant. And the Democrats in Denver treat rural Colorado like an afterthought. I'm not going to have a ton of friends when I get there because I think they're more comfortable with my opponent because they can mold him. They can get him to go along with what they want in exchange for a few bones that they can throw his way. But when I get there, they're not going to know me. They're not going to know what they can get me to do and what I'm going to do. Like my surveillance bill, I'm going to put it up there. And if I start getting pushback from powerful Democrats in Denver, I have no problem going and walking in their neighborhoods and talking to their voters and saying, you need to call your representative. I'm a Democrat. He's a Democrat, and he's not supporting this, and you need to ask him why. It's a little unorthodox, but that's the kind of thing I'm willing to do to get good stuff passed instead of just horse trading and going along as a team player. Hey, he's back.
It's Shiak. But sorry, my internet just completely shit itself for a second. But I'm back.
Well, I'm sorry that you missed out on all that super brilliant stuff that I said while you were gone.
Yeah, we just solved 80% of the world problems to include world peace. So
That's right. Oh, look, he's froze again. Is that the internet gods telling us something?
You know, I think it might be. Well, it's 8:30, so this is usually about the point where we start circling the wagons and wrapping it up anyway. So I don't want to have Jamie log back in and wonder where the hell we've gone. So I'll wait till she comes back from whatever is going on.
You can gossip about him till he gets back. Dish on him. What's the dirt on Jamie?
Well, Jamie's pronouns are she, her.
Oh, sorry.
Jamie is one of our trans admins. I'm probably the only one. I don't really.
My apologies.
I was gonna go somewhere with a bathroom joke about checking genitalia, but I got distracted. Anyway,
question for Vic. What are your thoughts on Jeffries continuing as leader? That is one of the first questions I've asked each of the guys running to represent me in Congress. And every time I have a politician on my podcast that's running for Congress, I ask him, are you going to support Hakeem Jeffries for leader? Because I think he is one of the worst leaders we could possibly have. I mean, Sarge, you were in the Army. You know what a real leader is, right?
I've seen a few.
A real leader isn't somebody who just does what he's told. A real leader either convinces the people following him that this is the way to go, or he understands the needs of the people following him and attends to those needs. But what Hakeem Jeffries does is just whatever Wall Street and AIPAC tells him to do. He needs to go. Thank you, Michelle.
Jamie says her whole ass house has lost the internet, so we'll just.
Okay then. Well, I sure appreciate the time with you. I thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the stream. I was like, wait, Resistor Vic wants to be on our. Are you sure it's not the other way around? Wants us to.
Hey, you want to come on my podcast someday?
Hell, send me a date and a time, as long as it's not a Taco Tuesday or a margarita Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. Absolutely, yeah. I would love to. Thank you.
Right. I
can
typically
even
do
bring a couple
Thursdays.
other people with me.
I typically record on Thursday and then I publish on Monday, but I do live.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we just do the live stream thing. That's all we do, really. I think one of the admins wanted to do a podcast, and it just kind of never materialized. So,
well, you know, it is unbelievably easy because you're already doing StreamYard. I use StreamYard, and I have my podcast set up on Substack. I take the video, I edit it into script, but you don't have to edit it. You can just publish whatever went on in your live stream. Press the record button when you do it, and then publish it on Substack, and that will go out to Spotify and Apple and all the others.
Oh, she's back.
She's back.
I saw your message about the whole.
I had to restart my modem, so
sometimes it'd be like that. We were actually just about to start wrapping it up, but it's glad. I'm glad that you're back to witness the sign off.
Yeah.
I can put my hat back on. Just kidding.
Oh, we're not doing that?
I'm not.
Damn. All right. I am.
You look more like a rocker, Jamie. I've seen that hat somewhere before.
I got it on Amazon.
Guy from Rat wears it
like years ago. So
I'm pretty sure that there's an 80s rocker who wore that hat.
Probably.
Yes, that's exactly.
Every hat I've bought has been inspired by at least Lemmy. So, you know. Because
one of the most fantastic bass players alive.
Right.
I could love that guy.
You know, as you can see, I like my metal. So, you know, it works out.
There you go. And I am going to go download your song, Big Sarge. I got to hear that now. I've got it on another tab ready to listen to.
The country one?
Yeah. I'm going to have you on my podcast, and I'm going to play it as the opening.
Oh, I mean, go ahead. I just, you know. Who do you host the podcast through? Do you just put it up on YouTube?
I use StreamYard just like you are. And like right now, I was able to connect my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel. So we're on your stream, but we're also on my streams. And then when it's my StreamYard, it's recording. And then I take it and do whatever I want to do with it. And then I upload it to Substack. And Substack publishes it out to Spotify, Apple, what's the other one? To my YouTube channel again. And then a bunch of smaller podcast places.
If they hit you with a warning that says that copyright whatever, just fucking dispute it. And when they ask you for the reason, be like, I had permission from Big Sarge from Sons of Liberty, because it's I have to dispute my own videos. It's it's ridiculous. I'm like, it's literally Sons of Liberty on Sons of Liberty. It's my shit.
Yes, for everybody who's watching on my channels, this is the Sons of Liberty live stream, Big Sarge and Admin Jamie. These guys are great. Big Sarge, these guys are veterans who are veteran activists. And I think that they're really great for left content on the internet that we need as much of as we can get. You're also very entertaining with your videos. I enjoy it every time they pop up in my stream.
I haven't done an actual rant video probably in like 2 months. I've just been like,
well, you
too
got
sick and
really,
unmotivated.
really sick, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's okay. I never wrote you that script for that one rant video I was gonna write, so I thought to do that.
All right, I tell you what, I'm going to play a tiny snippet, not very long because I'm embarrassed. But the reason that it sounds like ass is because I'm streaming from one site through another to yet another site, so the compression is just ridiculous. But here you go. Here's like the first.
We were standing by the kitchen sink.
Sank.
Didn't say goodbye, didn't stop to think. He had a big old truck and a crooked smile. And I guess you needed that for a little while.
All right, that's enough.
That's
'Cause
enough
that's-
to make me want to go listen to the whole thing.
Deeply, deeply personal, but also to prove that I could. But yeah. All right. That's going to be where I call the stream for tonight.
All right.
Because outside,
Can I say before we go, folks, if you want to see me defeat a right-wing Proud Boy 3%er who incredibly disrespected veterans, if you want to see me kick him out of public office, go to vic4hd47.com.
Vote for Vic Myers if you hate traitors.
There you go.
If you hate Proud Boys and two-faced politicians who say they love veterans but turn their backs on them, any of those reasons are enough.
Yeah.
January 6th, there's like you could literally put a bunch of reasons in a hat and pick one and it would still be a winning reason.
We could be here for another 2 hours listing reasons.
Absolutely.
We could. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, guys. I'm super grateful for you having me on.
Yeah, thanks for talking with us. It was wonderful talking with you. It was great hearing a lot of your policy positions. Jesus Christ, the booze is hitting me now too.
Right. Well, when you come on my podcast, then we'll tell everybody why you do what you do.
Send me a date and a time, and I'll be there, probably, as long as it doesn't conflict with like.
We'll find a time that works.
How about I have like a whole playlist on. If you go to the Sons of Liberty YouTube and click playlist, there's like 63 videos, and I have new material to record at some point between now and the end of this month that I'm not putting on the uniform though, because where I live, it's like already like 100 degrees in the shade, and that uniform is made out of pure wool. So I'm going to be in my DD214 talking shit about traders. That's how that's going to go. But I do have some new videos to record. I need the motivation. So y'all like the video, leave comments, tell me to get off my lazy arse, and make some more Confederate Heritage Month videos. That's going to be our stream for tonight. Resistor Vic on the show. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence for an hour and 44 minutes that you could have spent doing something else. I know you got a campaign to win, and I look forward to following up with you before Election Day so that we can see where you're at and what help we can provide to you. And I'll be happy to just send me a date and a time. You got my email. Yeah, so you got my phone number too. Let me know when, and I will drag a couple of Sons of Liberty people with me, and we'll have a good old time.
I will be in touch.
All right.
Outstanding. 2 claps and a Rick.
All right, later, guys.
Ah.
All right.